At once I take you towards critical thinking. CB. Here we have critical thinking. See here, critical thinking at once. But before that, let me tell you about other words too. Here. And some words are here. Here about critical thinking. Critical thinking. Page number 83. Look at page number 83. Critical thinking. Here we have the question. CB may not represent a person's skills and abilities accurately because one's confidence cannot be rendered in a paper. Suppose whatever you know, and that is not written, it cannot be written in a paper, a piece of paper. What do you think the employers should do to find the best people for the job? So for that, what we have to do? I think CB may not represent a person's skills and ability accurately because one's confidence cannot be rendered in a print paper or a piece of paper. Someone may present his or her skills in written form, but in practical life, it needs long-term training to be implemented in the working place for certain roles. It can be a starter means beginner, for a candidate not to have specific skills. The listed skills in CV should match the experience you have written there about in your resume. Resume means biodata. Resume means biodata. It does not mean we should learn every last thing in here. Pay particular attention to skills that are relevant but haven't necessarily been part of our daily job. I think sometimes skills will be absent from our experiences. Must know this. Which means that the skills selection is the only chance you get to highlight them. Listing skills on a resume implies you are confident in your abilities. On the other hand, another, for example, hiring manager uses the skills sections to judge how truthful a candidate has been in his or her application. If a candidate lists a string of 20 programming skills but only has done projects in one, I think hiring manager won't find our skills stashed away in the bullets of our experience section. If we were applying for one of those roles where a certain skill is absolutely required for consideration, it would be a huge mistake. It would be a huge mistake to not to list it in the skill section, even if we go into more detail elsewhere. Simply a CV, it means simply a CV does not reflect the person's inner skills and ability. It is accountable after having worked. If you do the work there in the field, you are being taken there and being taken there. Then you start working after taken there, then only your real skill is found out. But continuous logging into the work sharpen our mind with interest and satisfaction in the assigned task. You must know this. Now come to question number B. If the employees provide job opportunity by assessing one CV, how can fresh graduates complete with the experienced competitors. Again the question is there.
So what we should do in such condition? Fresh graduate need a lot of training for skills development in skill development in related field. They have only theoretical knowledge but don't have work experience or working experience. Reading is one thing, studying is one thing, and doing is another thing. In doing there are lots of lapses which we fulfill through practical experiences. You see, while doing we just do practically everything. So only studying is one thing, but practically if you do the work, then only we know or we have that kind of skill. Fresh graduates should follow organizations or professional bodies of interest to keep up to date with the latest news and developments in the world or in the country. They should have patience to listen, comment, and interact with employers and peers. When posting, including relevant documents to ensure your posts are seen by the right persons, they should think about setting up separate work accounts to complete with experiences competitors. Furthermore, in terms of conversations and meetings, obviously they are no longer happening in persons. They have to consternation on their own work, uh, uh, on their own work rather than other conversation. Vision should be given on their working table. Their response should have overwhelmingly positive towards institutions. The general consciousness is that they should get all the valuable information they needed without having worry about travel, extra expenses, and exposures to the new clients. They should not feel bored and harassed while complaining others. Anyway, regular effort, understanding employer ethics, and dignity of work make them perfect, and they can easily tackle the experienced competitors. You see this. Now see writing. In writing, you see this is very important for you. Study the following advertisement. Write an application for one of the position. Prepare your CV to that suits for the job. So now here you have to write job application. First, let me teach you how to write a job application. Then after that, we think of others. Job application. So next day I just teach you. Today the time is up.